seem to shake you, baby. I can't seem to shake you, baby. All I do is dream about you, baby. All I do is dream about you. Remember when you loved me? I loved you, and then you left me alone. You know I'd always come back home. We can't pretend that this is the end, baby. All I do is dream about you. I can't seem to shake you, baby. I swear tomorrow that I'll give you up. Save the sorrow for when we wake up. But for tonight it seems I'm tangled up in you, tangled up in you. I can't seem to shake you, baby. I can't seem to shake you, baby. I swear tomorrow that I'll give you up. And I will save the sorrow for when we wake up. But for tonight it seems I'm tangled up in you, tangled up in you, tangled up in you, tangled up
That's right, and we're back live on Chicano Tube, live on Chicano Street. Beautiful Linda Raza. All I ask is that you hit the like button. If you're listening live on Facebook, you can hit that like button. If you're listening on Instagram, shout out to everyone that's tuning in already on Instagram. You guys can hit that heart button. Just do me a favor. That's all I ask. And if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit that like, man. There's also a share button. If you're watching, the majority of us watch through our phones. If there's a share button on there. So if you want to hit the share button on your mobile phone, también igual, you could do that. All the phones are linked up to your social media, right? Facebook, IG, Snapchat, TikTok. We're on all platforms, X, etc. I'm gonna go ahead and go through some formalities. It's the Thursday night show live on Chicano Street. Raza, hit that like. Gracias to all the day oneers that have been rocking with us, man. Next month, June, we're reaching the 2-year mark. I feel like doing something special for the 2-year anniversary. Maybe it's giveaway time. Not a raffle, not a tanga, not a 2-for-1, 3-for-1, nothing like that. It's just going to be 100% giveaway. That way we can give back to the people because we appreciate you guys. 2 years, next month, 14K. I'm humbled. I'm truly, from the bottom, the fondo de mi corazón. am humbled that you guys would subscribe and listen in. This is not your regular show tonight. Which what we will do is go into other topics. If you're new to the channel, though, and don't know what this is about, let me go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Mike. Okay, I'm hailing from the city of Salinas, California. We're right on the Central Coast. Salinas is the equator of California. That means if you were to measure California from top, Crescent City, all the way to the bottom, National City, you would see at the right at the middle mark is Salinas, California. And then, of course, we're on the ocean, man. Introduce myself in case you don't know who I am. I grew up in Salinas. I'll give a little bit of background of who I am. I can definitely relate somewhat to some level, not all levels, to my guest that I'm going to go ahead and bring on right now. He's just getting situated. Give him a couple more minutes before we bring on Sam, my brother Samuel, so he can give you his story. I grew up in Salinas, grew up all my life, gente. All my life in Salinas. The east side of Salinas, I often compare over to the east side of Los Angeles. Salinas is predominantly Mexican, Mexican American, Chicano, however you want to boil it, indigenous blood at the end of the day, right? And I compare it to East LA. That means everywhere you go in East Salinas, where I grew up, you'll just see vendors, right? You'll see street vendors. They're selling oranges, they're selling huaraches, they're selling antojitos. I grew up all my life in East Salinas. And I spent, unfortunately, a couple years, not that many, but maybe 3 as a juvenile. And then, of course, I ended up going over to the adult system, kept getting in trouble. And then from there, finally, agarré la onda, an epiphany. The scales came off my eyes, like the Bible says in the book of Acts. The scales came off my eyes, man. And I decided for no other reason, 2 Junes ago, next June will be 2 years, to go ahead and come on and jump on YouTube. And, Chicanos need a representation on YouTube of people that are going to build. There's so many people on the pinchy internet. All they do is tear down, destroy, and breed negativity. And what I've been saying for 2 years now, next month, is all the negativity has been done. What's the point of highlighting the negativity? It's 2025. That don't roll no more. Just like things of the old ain't rolling no more and ain't clicking and firing on all cylinders. That's part of my story. I go into the intricacies, though, of that. If I'm invited onto a platform, I definitely will go into, details of the life. People like the grimy. They like the dirty. Those are the videos that get all the views or get all the likes. But we're not in it for none of that, man. If we're going to do anything here on ChicanoTube, is we're going to build, we're going to restore, we're going to raise up, we're going to help out, extend a helping hand. That's what we're going to do here. So again, gracias to all the day oneers. Short intro on who I am. But I appreciate everyone that's already coming in the comment section, man. I appreciate you guys. Here it is. Andale. That's right, boy Aguilar. I appreciate you, my boy. Joe Hernandez is dope. Dope oldies song. I love it. It's actually, it's the Altons Tangled Up, and it's YouTube, what is it called? Licensed. So it's a perpetual license. That's the one that costs a little bit more. It wasn't no like $6, $8, $10. The perpetual license was going to be like $150, something like that. I remember paying it, but I appreciate you. It's because it's Chicanos. Well, we grew up on oldies. I mean, I don't know how you grew up. Obviously, it's different in different parts of California, or maybe you grew up in another state. We got New Mexico that's tapped in before. Arizona has tapped in before. Utah. We've had Chicago. We've had Chicanos from New York, East Coast, Midwest. And like tonight, my very, very special guest, my brother Samuel is coming tonight. He's from Southeast Houston, Texas, man. He's got a hell of a story. I mean, it's let's just keep it a buck, man. His story is something that you only hear of like in documentaries. Serio. I'm honored that my brother's coming on the platform before he hits Vlad. because I'm sure he's going to end up on Vlad TV. I'm sure he's going to end up on a lot of different platforms. I align with platforms myself, people that are going to build people up, help people. People that are going to help the community in itself, right? If you haven't already known, this month I have 10 years that I celebrated last week with the youngsters at the camp. Right, the camp is one step before they would send them to the California Youth Authority, which of course is the juvenile prison. Right, last month, man, I celebrated 10 years going there. I've seen staff change. I've seen youngsters change. Unfortunately, I've seen youngsters get out, come back with bodies. And I've had to go and talk to them inside the juvenile hall, the new juvenile hall. That's a little bit of the civic work I do. I'm also a minister. If you didn't know, now you know. You didn't think a minister can have sazon, flavor, and all that? Chale Street, right? Also a minister. That's part of what I do, help out the youngsters. Of course, in my professional life, a lot of different endeavors I do in my professional life. Investor, mostly 80% is in real estate. Sometimes it's in odd things, not in real estate. Like I was talking about container homes and other things that are popping in Mexico. Little bit of what I do. But none of that would have been possible. None of that would have happened in my life if I didn't have God working on me, if I didn't accept him and say, okay, you do it. Because if I do it, I'm going to keep screwing it up and make a career out of this. So again, nothing but building, nothing but the positive. Houston has done amazing things. I want to give a shout out to Houston, Texas, man. If you're already listening, I'm going to bring in Samuel right now, my brother. Houston has done amazing things with their communities. It's like a model. Houston is like a model of how we should do it in California. Now, all my California people, don't get mad. Don't get mad. Well, what are you talking about, Mikey? What are you talking about? Well, first off, the first thing I'm talking about is unity. Houston is getting united if they're not already united. California, it's a hard message where I'm from, which is the message of unity, putting down the animosity, letting go the bad blood, letting go the dead homies, letting go the bodies. I get it, man. I get it. I grew up in Salinas. Okay, I grew up where cabrones got like razor blades in their mouth. I mean, it's a different environment here because of the history of Salinas that I've given in the members only section. If you want those kind of stories, gritty, grimy, there's a members only section on YouTube. You can go there. It has the full autobiography. I call it My Chicano Story. I think I'm already on what? Part 13 or part, yeah, I think I'm on part 13 of My Chicano Story. But Houston is to be commended for everything that they're doing there. Man, the unity is the first aspect. The second aspect is the entrepreneurs that men of God, like my brother Sam, is birthing entrepreneurs to go out there and hustle and get it. I've been saying this from day one, right? Our pillars don't change. We got 3 pillars: Dios, familia, y cultura. Okay? The pillars don't change. A lot of the problems are monetary and could be solved, this is what I tell the youngsters, by you going out and getting the bag. Houston is getting the bag. Houston is united in order to reach a common goal, which is network. Of course, it's restoration, it's peace for all the communities. Okay. And that's something that I want wholeheartedly for my own town and for my own community. I run into a lot of old buddies, right? The old buddies, it's not like I los mandé por un tubo. Absolutely not. No, the homies, absolutely not, man. They still paint my cars. I still go for them when I do body work. They do all my mechanic work. So frequently, I got to tap in with the homies. The only difference is the energy that I give now. It's a different energy. I'll talk to them about endeavors. I'll talk to them about adventures. I'll talk to them but trying to just throw it out there to see if they want to jump on board with getting the bag, right? Of course, I got to give credit to Jesus, because if it wasn't for him, pues cabrones, your boy still would have been legion with I don't know how many thousands of ya sabes de demonios inside of me, man. But anyways, so I appreciate everyone that's already tuning in. Without any more hesitation, I'm gonna go ahead and bring on my brother from another mother to come on the platform. I appreciate you, Samuel. How are you, my brother?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good. How am I looking on the screen? Am I sideways or straight up?
Yeah, you actually are. You're gonna have to tilt the camera. So can you rotate the camera?
Let me try, man.
Yeah.
I'm not too technically savvy with this, bro.
How about if he just goes, andale? All right, come
Let me
in and out.
try. Let me try. Let me try it one more time.
Yeah, no worries about that. There's a rotation, or does a tripod have a head that rotate? Andale.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Let me see.
That's it, my brother.
See how good we are on this. What's going on, my brother?
Man, I appreciate your time, hermano. Everything is good over here. How's the family? How about you?
Man, everything's good over here in Houston, man. Everything.
Okay.
Constantly working, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely. Are you at Southside Studios?
Yeah, I'm at Southside Studios right now, brother. Right
And
now.
tell me about that. About before we get into anything, what's going on over there? Is that a place that you're using as far as getting together and?
Well, Southside Studios, bro, it's a 3,200 square foot media facility led by Manic Beats.
Okay.
Me and him are in partnership with a couple of other brothers. We wanted to create a ecosystem, right?
Mm,
For people to come in and record artists, for people to come in and do videography, to come in and do photography, whatever in regards to any type of media, we set up shop over here at this facility. We have different sets. We have different locations within the facility to where you can shoot your video content, your
mm,
music videos, you can record. We have a Studio A, which is Manic Beats
mm.
operational base right there. And then we have a Studio B where you can do your live instruments. And we work with all genres of artists and musicians to make it happen for the people, man.
Man, that's awesome. So you're offering these services over to the community, so they don't have to, drop the 10, 20 bands on a studio, or do any of that. All they got to do is tap in with you. You got a turnkey ready to go.
Well, we're a business. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but our rates and our network, right, far exceeds. Like, say for instance, you go to a regular studio, and all they offer is recording, mixing, mastering, sound engineering, etc. Here we offer everything from beginning to end, plus distribution, plus
Mm,
whatever you need done in regards to media. If you want to film a movie, we can do it for you.
that's
We
right.
have the equipment. We All you have to do is show up with the idea or with your planet already to put in motion, and we bring it to life. We make dreams become a reality here at Southside Studios in Houston.
That's right. Shout out to Manic Media. Shout out to Southside Studios. I saw the post on IG, and that's why I asked you about that. It looked like you were there. So, hermano, I'm gonna go ahead and get into it, hermano. This is Chicano Tube. We got next month is gonna be our 2-year anniversary. Shout out to everyone that's already subscribed. 14K in 2 years. I'm really humbled about that. I believe, hermano, that people are gravitating toward Chicano Tube, because there's a lot of platforms that don't build, destroy. Don't speak the positive, speak the negative. Obviously, that gets more attention, etc. But that's not what my legacy is about. I'm planting this flag. I've been in Salinas all my life, still here for unity of the raza, and I surround myself with positive individuals who want to build people up, such as yourself. What you've got going on in Houston is commendable, and I wanted you to come on to lace us up on what's going on. I'll preface it by saying this. Here we have 3 pillars on Chicano Tube. They're immovable. It's Dios, God, familia, family, and cultura, culture. Those 3 things are pillars, or are the foundations that we do everything on. So I believe we align. I've heard you speak before. I've seen some of your interviews, hermano. I'm humbled that you would come on here with such an inspiring story. I said, let me get Samuel on here before he gets on Vlad TV, because I think you're going to
Nah,
go on Vlad
I
TV.
don't think I'm gonna go on Vlad TV, man.
Oh, okay, okay, because the
Nah,
recording here.
they got too many federal indictments coming out of Lad TV, bro.
I get you. I get you. We
Mhm.
got to be wise as a serpent. Be careful. But hermano, let me ask you that. Let's go ahead and get straight into it, man. You're growing up, okay? I want to know what social factors attributed to the result of your adolescence. You had did some time as an adolescent. Can you go ahead and speak about that? And the reason I want to ask you these questions is because we get a lot of viewers. I go to the juvenile hall, they're watching at the juvenile hall. I go to a camp, a meeting every month, they're watching at the camp. I want people to be able to relate to real life situations. That's why I'm asking you that. So how was it growing up, hermano?
Well, honestly, my story is your story, right? My story is everybody else's story because we're all going through something, or we've all been through something. So that's where the cohesive factor comes into play, right? Now there may be some different characters in my story or different events that transpired, but the struggle, we all know the struggle, especially those that grew up in the inner city. So my story is the same like so many others. Single parent household, the Jefita worked 2 or 3 jobs just to put food on the table, and the streets embraced me. That's where I found, you know, my security. That's where I found my peace. That's where I found, my ability to survive and gather everything else as far as my tools to get where I was in the gang culture.
That's right. Yes. And, a lot of youngsters, we've all been through that phase where, as an adolescent, you're trying to be that guy. You're trying to be that man. You're trying to get street credibility. That
Right.
way, people will know you and know your name. But all that's going to lead to is two places: the cemetery or the correctional facility. In your instance, gracias a Dios, it was the correctional facility and not the cemetery. And so you ended up getting incarcerated as a youth. Did you miss high school? Did you miss that? Or was there other factors involved that you were like, you know what? I didn't even go to school or live that kind of average normal life because I was on the streets. How was that?
It was all about survival, like most of us, right? It's all about survival. We're all trying to, usually the young men in the barrio, right? What are we trying to do? We're trying to help our jefitas out, right? We're trying to put food on the table, help her with her bills, take care of our siblings. It was just all a matter of survival. As far as going to jail, going to juvie, going to prison, and Novadio is just a rite of passage for all of us. So that normal right there, we have to do away with that particular. We have to do away with that particular normal because, like me, I was already desensitized to it.
Mm,
My tios, my brother, my jefito, everybody, they all took that ride, on the Bluebird to the
mm.
prison, and I became desensitized to it just like so many others you know? And so we have to break that particular mindset because that's not normal. We go to prison and other people go to college. We become career criminals and they go get a career, right? We take out a mortgage. So, normal people go take out a mortgage and we go get a front on some bricks from the plug. You see the dichotomy in that? You see the differentials in that? But we think that's our normal, but it's not our normal because we make our environment what it is. The power is in the people, the collective effort.
So
We
what would
just
you
don't.
What would you tell the youngsters that usually point to, like, the circumstances of their environment and the factors, and then they see, Johnny come lately growing up in the suburbs and have a silver spoon, given to them, and a lot of people blame the environment. Do you see it that way, or do you put it on choices, or what could you tell the youngsters how to curtail the end result of not accomplishing high school, not going to college or doing normal things? I remember being in juvenile hall, hearing the judge sentence people and hearing the judge say normal people your age are getting ready to go to the prom, getting ready to graduate from high school, getting ready to go to the Marines, but you have decided to become a career criminal. What would you tell the youngsters?
There's a lack of leadership in our community, my brother. There's a lack of real leadership in our community. Why? Because we've adopted this particular mindset that we think that we earn our stripes as a man because we get sent to the penitentiary. You
Mm.
know, nobody celebrates, you know, the brother that gets up every day and goes to work and pays his bills on time. Nobody in the barrio celebrates that. They celebrate the dope boy, they celebrate the gangster. And I think that until we come to that self-realization that we're our problem, that we're our greatest enemy, not the social and economic situation that we grow up in, because there's a lot of people in the barrio that go on to do great things.
Mm.
You know,
Absolutely.
they beat the odds and they get where they want to be in life to do the things that they need to do to help us out. Sometimes we don't give credit where credit is due. There's a lot of people that grew up in Salinas that went through the struggle that have gone on to do great things. There's people that have been torcido in the penitentiary and have come out and have achieved great things as well. The struggle is just one chapter.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I tell the youngsters, it's constantly. I go to these meetings, right? The juvenile hall and the camp, hermano, and they're always asking me about certain characters, right? Oh, I seen this guy on YouTube. Have you seen this guy on YouTube? I thought it was just a California thing, hermano. But over here in California, it seems like it's a badge of honor that people wear on their chest that, oh, I did time. I was on the 3, I was on the 4 yard. And then they see these characters come on the internet and just tell war stories. And I constantly have to remind the youngsters that is not what you want. Is that what you want? Is to throw away your life? Because I only did like a third of the time you did, and we're gonna get into that. But every time I went away, I went back to the same room. My parents have more gray hair. Nothing is changing. I'm not advancing and moving forward at all. That's one of my principal messages. I tell the youngsters, you got to advance. You got to move forward in life. If you're not moving forward, you're basically just stagnant. That's right, Sambo. He's just having visual technical difficulties. We'll get him back on here right now. I might have to remove you, hermano, or I'm not sure. Just hit the refresh if you can still hear me. There you go. Okay. Hit the refresh button, which is the little circle with the arrow that goes back. You might have to go all the way out and then, yeah, that's what it is. Okay, perfect. Street Doug says, Mikey, can you ask him if Texas fools really love SPM? I mean, he knows SPM, but not as the person before all the fame. I'm pretty sure about that. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's going on, brother?
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. I'm reading some of the comments right now. Let's go ahead and keep it pushing, man. Your journey, my brother Samuel, eventually took you to the adult system. And this is in the 90s, where I say that was around the time where it was real time. It was real time in the 90s. I want to ask you this. You caught your case. I mean, you got 45. It was a 45 to life plus a federal case. Is that what happened at 21?
It was 35. 35.
35 to
35.
life
Yeah.
plus a federal case.
Right.
That was supposed to be what, over like 300 months federal.
Yeah, 327 months, 27.4 years.
So as you look at that, you probably weren't expecting ever to come home. And I want to ask you, here you are, a young man stepping in there in a high stress environment that you thought you were only going to leave in the casket. I want to get your thoughts. What was it when you got to the big show?
Well, you know, the veteranos in there at that time, they weren't doing no playing. They weren't doing no playing. So, you know, automatically in my mind, it was like, I'm gonna have to be the hardest of the hard. I'm gonna have to put in some work in order to establish myself in the sistema, because back then either you was the victim or you was the victor. You either roll with the wolves or you got ate by the wolves. It was real simple, you know. And so when I got into the system, of course, I didn't know what to really expect. You get laced up a little bit in the condal on your way over there. You know, brothers will lace you up. But I was from the new generation.
Mm,
I was at the spearhead of the new generation. So there was going to be a culture clash eventually, right?
mm,
Because everything, there's a natural evolution to everything. But it was very violent, extremely violent. riots, murders, stabbings. It was extremely violent, and even till this day, I don't even know how I was able to survive those 30 years in prison. Sometimes I'll sit back and I'll reflect out here, and of course, I give all glory and honor to Jesus Christ, who saved me. But at the same time, it's like, the reality of the situation is real simple. You hear it all the time. It was just do or die. That's basically what the sistema was at that time. But as a young man entering into the Texas prison system at that time, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if I was going to live or I didn't know if I was going to die. But I knew one thing, that in order for me to survive, I had to be not only as violent as the people that were already there, but even more so in order to establish myself, because I didn't get down with the already established prison gangs that was in the sistema. I had a mindset to where, I'm from the new generation, so I'm not gonna follow and link step with these brothers. I'm gonna start my own ranfla. I'm gonna do my own thing. And in order to do that, you have to be as violent as possible.
And I'm
And
sure
that's what I did, bro. I became one of the most violent prisoners that Texas has ever had to deal with, And so, my thing was real simple, man. Any sign of disrespect, then I'm gonna do a cameo. I'm gonna put in that work. And the people were watching me. They were prospecting, and they wanted me to get down, but it was like, no, man, we got to do it this way or no way, because as a young man on the streets, I was already in that mindset. I was already a gangster. So coming down here, you're graduating. You know the mindset. Now I know it was a polluted mindset, a perverted mindset, because nobody on this earth as a young man should be having to worry about having to kill somebody in the sistema or stab somebody in the sistema in order to survive. We should be having the mindset that when we get down there, we're going to rehabilitate ourselves and do what we need to do to change our character and our direction, so that way we come home, we're an asset and not a liability to our families and to our community.
mm, absolutely. Yeah, it seems like in the Department of Corrections in California, they'll end up putting the most violent individuals, the stabbers, the assault. They'll put them on the same yard as the prison gangs, because they're like, well, they're just gonna end up recruiting these guys anyways, so you might as well just put them in there. So it's kind of like they're just nudging them along to be able to get further inside of criminal activity. And so you were inside the tech system. Before we get to the good part, I want to get you. We're gonna get past the grimy or whatever people call it, so we can get to the good part, which is the building people up, the networks, your documentary, manifesto, and other things that you got going on, projects. Um, you were present in the Texas system for the formation of, like you had said, a movement, right? Tango Blast, at a time where it was really, really volatile. I mean, that must have been something. It took some gall, right, to be able to try to make a different movement inside of a place that's probably already has movements established, or whatever you want to call it. We're just being nice and we're calling them movements. Um, how and why did that come about? If you can answer that respectfully.
It goes back to the survival aspect, right? It's like right now, let's take for instance, right now, there's a culture clash within the prison system because it's a natural evolution, like I mentioned earlier. You have a different mindset, a different type of prisoner, right? And so you have these reglas that exist, but then you have these other individuals, right, that are coming in that abide by other reglas, or sometimes no reglas at all, right? So how do you implement a structure to where you control them, right? Some people just can't be controlled. And like they say nowadays, the youngsters nowadays, they're almost untamable, right? You can't control them. So back then, we were at the beginning of that particular movement. So the only way to tame us was to try to go to war with us, to go to war with us, to try to tame us, right? And so when the Tango Blast started, it was about self-reliance, self-determination. It was about survival, because back then there was no such thing as uh, uh you're gonna do your own thing, right? It was forced on you. Like in some prison systems, they force you to be recruited into some of these criminal organizations, right? But us, the new generation that grew up on, the new cultura,
Mhm.
we weren't trying to hear that. So, we had to go to war, bro. That just how it goes in order to establish yourself. Until this day, there's still problems that exist in the prison system because we stood up for the brothers who were getting extorted, for the family members that were getting extorted, for the brothers that were getting killed or raped or whatever the case may be, right? Clicked on or being forced to do things against their own will. So it was sort of like a revolutionary movement to give people a space and a place to do their temple. If you want to do your temple and you want to go to school, get a vocational trade, you want to stay out of all the problems, then roll with the blast, and we're going to make sure you get home to your family. I might have a life sentence. I may never go home. But if you come to me and you tell me, hey, man, I really want to go home to my people, to my wife, then we're going to help you get there. So that way you can go home and be the father that you've been called to be. It was
Wow.
all about survival, bro. The prison system was out of control, man. And until this day, it's still out of control, you know?
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna get to you doing work because now it seems like you're redeeming the time, like the Bible says, which is a good thing. Well, let me ask you now that we're on this segment. Um, do you feel that you partook in the beginnings of something that is what is it called, is negative, and how are how did you come to terms with, okay, it was what it was, it's part of my testimony, but you're going back in there now and you're talking to the people, right? And how's that going?
Well, you always have to remember, bro, that the basic fundamental principles in which this organization was formed, right? You have negative in everything, right? But always remember, man, in prison everything is diplomatic, bro. So the majority rules. So if these groups were, all organizations were based on self-reliance, right, on survival from some form of opposition, right? Now if the majority reverts back to that, and they understand that peace will give them an opportunity to get home to their people or to create a less volatile environment, then the old heads, right, the veteranos and the OGs, they have to revisit that ideology, bro, because that's the basis of their foundation for all these organizations. It just takes somebody to have a voice loud enough to make them remember, right? Like, snap out of it, man. You know what I mean? What are we doing? We're killing each other. It's like it gets me, bro. Like, you see a lot of raza, right? They're like proud Mexicanos. They're waving the flag, but then their ops are other Mexicanos.
Mm,
How do we progress and how do we get where we want to be when I'm killing my own people or I'm suppressing my own people? How can I be a proud Mexicano if I call you my ops and you're another Mexicano and I never met you before, but the minute I see your copias or your tattoos, it's green light.
mm. Yeah.
So that's where we get this twisted mindset. But my voice was loud enough to where I said, hey man, we need to hit a pause button, bro.
Mm.
And whether you like it or not, I'm gonna stand on principle, and I'm gonna remind all you brothers of one thing, man. That life is all about living, bro. And we're running around here chasing death, thinking that we're representing something that in the end game, bro. In the end game, all it causes is suffering. All it causes is pain. And that's what separated the Tango Blast from all these other organizations, bro. We were freedom fighters, right? We stood on righteousness, bro. We stood on the things, man, that really mattered the most was our faith and our family, bro. I remember we used to walk down the hallway, it'd be 50 deep, we'd be 100 deep, and the wardens would see us, and we're all going to go get our GED. We're all going to get a vocational trade. We're all trying to go to some type of spiritual renewal class because all that holler was mandatory. So it separated us from the regular groups. Even though there's negative elements that exist, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but the basic fundamental principles are being righteous, bro. Standing on what's righteous.
I guess
You
that's what I
know.
wanted to ask you was, is there any kind of guilt or anything like that? Because obviously you birthed something that took an entity of its own and just grew and grew and grew. And this is what I want to highlight, though, is that someone in your position that was there, instrumental for that, you know that the devil got mad the day you decided to open your heart and let Jesus in there, because now the person that was doing the most damage is now doing the most damage for the kingdom. And that's what I want to highlight. So
Right,
shout out to
right,
you
right,
for doing
right.
that. You spent a total of like 11 years in AdSeg. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah, solitary confinement, and seg is different in Texas, right?
Mm,
You have some seguiadas, right, where you're on an old cell block, right? But the majority of people like myself that were high-ranking gang members, we go to the SHU, the security housing unit, right? The extended cell block, where you have no access to no other human. You're isolated in a cell. You can't see out of the window. You get to come out 1 hour a day, and those are the consequences, right? This is how perverted our mindset is. We think that that's normal, being subjected to sensory deprivation, to being isolated, right? And we think that that's part of the game, how we earn our stripes, right? But there's nothing normal about being in administrative segregation in the SHU. That's nothing to be proud of, because that's the lowest point that any human being can be. We have nothing and we have nobody. So if anybody says that that's a badge of honor,
mm.
then that's a false way of thinking. It's not. It's not a rite of passage or a badge of honor, you know? So because I suffered in there, sensory deprivation, I suffered tremendously psychologically. A lot of men go back there, bro, and they come back out here, and the trauma that they experience, the psychological trauma that they experience, they'll never be the same. There's a carnal of mine that I'm real close to. He did about 9 years in administrative segregation. He has to sleep in his bathtub at night. He has to sleep in his bathtub at night because he can't deal with, a regular living environment. So he suffers psychologically. He suffers, man. And so I think that's the. I don't know if you know about the 1994 crime bill. When they started building, when they signed the 1994 crime bill, in that legislation, it says that the prison systems are not responsible for the negative psychological ramifications that the prisoners experience. Can you believe that?
That's like releasing them from liability, right?
All the way, 120,000%, bro. So it's in there that they are not liable for any type of negative mental psychosis that you experience while you're in the shoe, bro. That's in the legislation in the 1994 crime bill that Bill Clinton signed.
How were you able to focus and get through all that seg time? Because again, before the Lord started working on your heart, you were still just going forward and trying to be that man, right? And I'm sure that you had a name. I know you had a name. A lot of people, I'm calling you Sam, my brother Samuel. I don't know you as Sambo. A lot of people don't know Sambo, right? That man is no longer here, but I'm sure you don't mind people calling you that. But um, how did you get through it, those 11 years, and just everything that you had to deal with, the stress, the riots? You're one of the top guys in TB, one of the founders, and I'm sure you also had a target on your back, had to be inside the politics, which is not red and blue politics. This is people don't understand politicking at that level. How did you get through that, brother?
The first thing that we do is you have to get a rutina. You got to get a routine back there, bro. Most of us, we get up early and we go to sleep early, right?
Mhm.
But see, back there in TDCJ, man, they cut doors off. They make spears, projectiles. They make bombs. They pop the cell doors out in the shower. I mean, you can be handcuffed and get smoked right there on the run going to the shower. It happens to numerous people. So you got to be on point. And yeah, man, it's a matter of survival. But you become analytical. You become observant, right? You have to pay attention to everything going on, bro. The minute that you wake up, if you hear the wrong sound, somebody's cutting on their cell door. If you hear somebody, moving their mattress, and you got to be able to. It's like it's built like a quad block, right? So you got to be able to look in the middle where the guards are, and look at the reflection on the glass to monitor everything that's going on your section. And if you go to sleep, you got to tell one of your carnales or one of the homeboys to, hey, you got to stay through, child. We got to, it's all about survival, because you can come out, be handcuffed, go to the shower. Two guys will come cut out their cell door and kill you on the run, So, and if you're a bad actor, I mean, it may happen sooner than later. The administration will mess around and you get a special move that day to a different cell block. You never know. So everything's respect. Even with your enemies, bro. If we were living on a cell block with some of our enemies, we showed them the utmost respect. But we knew what it was. You get us or we get you, right? But routine was the first thing for me. Rutina. You gotta get in that rutina. If you don't get in that rutina, your mind begins to play tricks on you. You have to get some type of structure, right? You gotta read, you gotta work out, you gotta eat proper, you gotta study, and you have to take that initiative to say, you know what, I'm gonna fight this. Because if you subject yourself to the conditions, then you're gonna break, homie. There's no other option. You'll break. So you gotta stay strong, brother. You got to stay strong, man. And then so, they have volunteer chaplains that come around. They visit you, check on you, how you doing, spend a little time with you. And they open up my mind to something that I had never ever experienced. Free little being. I hear you, my brother. I hear you, free little being. So it subjects you to psychological torment. So I had to reach deep within myself and try to figure out, hey man, how am I going to survive it back here? Because when you're in administrative segregation, it's indefinite.
Mm.
They don't have to let you out. You come up every 6 months for classification, and they're like, hey man, we're sorry. Boom. Put you right back there. There's some brothers been back there 20, 30, 40 years, my brother. And then so these volunteer chaplains will come around, give me different literature. And back there, you read every book, every magazine 2 or 3 times. So I started reading a lot of the religious material that they gave me. And it's predominantly, Protestant Christian literature. So, I started reading it, man. And basically, bro, I realized that I couldn't do it within the physical. It had to be something deeper than what I seen right there. So I reached out to God, bro. I reached out to God, man, and submitted myself, to studying his word and to fellowshipping with him only, you know. And little by little, he began to open up my mind, bro, to different things like making me realize that I was more than just a number. I was more than just a gang member. Like there's passages of scripture in the Bible that says that you're a member of the royal priesthood, right? That you're an heir to the throne, to the kingdom. And I study so deep. I'm like, man, what does it mean I'm an heir to the kingdom? What is the kingdom? What am I an heir to? If God is the father, then and I'm his son because I never had a father. So I began to study scripture based on that and began to allow those particular scriptures to mold my character. Let your yes be yes, let your no be no, right?
Yeah.
To if your enemy is hungry, then you feed him, right? So forth and so on. So it began to mold and shape my character. But I would see the Muslims out on the rec yard, they would pray, right, all the time. And I was lacking in that area. So I would fellowship with God through my prayer, right? And I would begin to fellowship with him, bro. And I began to meditate on his scripture, man. And all them years of questions, all them unanswered questions that I had about my upbringing or how I ended up in prison, because I went to prison for a murder I didn't do. I didn't do it, homie. I pled guilty to the murder because I didn't snitch on nobody, right? The actual guy who did it. So I pled guilty to a murder I didn't do, bro. I did 30 years for something I didn't do. So I had to find closure in that. I had to find closure in the fact that my father never gave a damn about me growing up. I had to find closure in the fact that I failed my mother, that I failed my sisters, right? And so the closer I began to draw to God, the more things began to fall off.
And
You know,
you were pretty much asking God for a miracle, right? You're like, you know what? This has been my life. This doesn't
right?
look like I'm leaving this place other than inside of a casket or a body bag. And you pretty much were asking God for a miracle. And then the miracle came. I kind of just fast forwarding a little bit because, we're going to be wrapping up in 15. The miracle came. You didn't think you were going to get off of a life sentence. You thought either the state is going to end there, or no matter what, the federal was going to pick you up and it was going to end there. No matter what, you weren't expecting to get out. But I believe, my brother Sam, all of that, those questions that I asked you about how did you endure, how was it like, all of that, God was, I believe, working on your character.
Thank you,
That
bro.
way, by the time you were out here, all of the adversity and everything you got there was to prepare you for what God really had in store with you, was what you're doing right now in Houston, Texas, man. I commend you because Houston has a lot of unity going on. I'm one of the proponents, hermano, on Chicano Tube. This is a very unpopular message, especially in Salinas. Here, Salinas is like the Los Angeles of Northern California. It's the first city that was the first prison stronghold. It all started here at our facility at Soledad, 15 minutes south. And so, again, a movement birthed out of oppression and all that stuff. But here, the youngsters, because of the reputation Salinas has, they don't want to hear me when I tell them about unity of the raza. Can you specifically talk to the youngsters and tell them, maybe give them a message about why uniting, why putting the 60-year-old beefs that we got, the blood, the dead homies, how we can get past that and what's the benefit of that?
If you look on the internet, right, you see everybody's coming to Houston. San Anto, Austin, Dallas, Califas.
Mm,
Everybody's moving to Houston, right? And one of the things, man, that we always promote here, like here at the Southside Studios, right? This right here is a hub
mm,
and it's a home. Okay. Here we don't have no opposition, we don't have no beefs. You leave all that holly outside the door, right? Outside the door. Because if it's not beneficial to the movement, if you oppose anything that's constructive to the movimiento, because I'm trying to get these brothers these $1 million checks, bro.
right.
You hear me? So that way they can provide for their family, man, in a legitimate way. So the majority rules, right? And the vast majority of people, right? We want our kids to be able to play outside, bro. We want to be able to put our kids through college. We want this to be the mecca, right?
Mm,
For the new wave that's coming through. And everybody understands that we're all doing everything for the common good of the people. I can have my kids here at the studio. I can have my grandkids here. The producers, they can bring all their family here. You know why? Not only because we're well respected, but because we're well protected as well, homie. You know what I mean? We're not here to play no games. Nosotros no son chavalones. We're veteranos, and you can leave all that out there, right?
mm,
But if you bring it to Houston, we're gonna address it, my brother. We're gonna address it, and you'll have a few rap beefs pop up. You'll have a few, gang issues pop up. But we do everything in our God-given power, man, to address it. We
that's
can't, we can't, we can't save everybody. But when we come out, you got movements here in Houston like Chicano Boulevard, right? Movements out here like Cadillac and Coffee. You got brothers at Exotic Pop. You got Rap A Lot Records. You got Swisher House Records. You got brothers out here that are on the front line letting these youngsters know, you know what? We're going to create opportunities, employment opportunities for you. We're going to create an avenue for you brothers, man, to live out your dreams and make them become a reality. But you're not going to oppose what we got going on, which is the number one regla, bro. which is to maintain the respeto for one another.
Mm,
You can be from a different barrio, you can be from a different clica. It doesn't matter. But when we're out there on Chicano Boulevard, or when we're out here at these shows at Exotic Pop, or we're doing these concerts, bro, we're not gonna have no unnecessary drama, because if you bring it, we're gonna address it, homie. It's real simple. We're gonna address it because what we're doing, you mentioned the word legacy. What
mm,
we're doing is we're planting seeds for future generations to where they can fulfill their dreams as well. We got brothers over here in Houston that are community outreach coordinators for colleges,
mm.
brothers that are in the military, brothers that are in law enforcement, brothers that are entrepreneurs, man, that are willing to create opportunities for you if you really, truly want to do the right thing. And that's what we're here for, homie, to protect and provide for our communities. So all these people that think that it's okay to run rampant in the community and to destroy lives, to kill innocent people, to destroy properties, to rob and maim, to where our people are living in fear from our own people, that's not gonna happen where we're at. Because the brothers that I sit at the table with, homie, we'll sacrifice our life if we have to create an opportunity for the kids that are growing up in our barrios and our communities here in Houston. And I ask anybody that is listening right now, whether you're in California, whether you're in Illinois, whether you're in other parts of Texas, wherever you're at, we've been called to be pillars, bro, of our community. We've been called to be protectors of our community. We've been called to be providers of our community, homie. If you got to go out there, man, and patrol the schools after school, we got the anti-bully gang here in Texas, bro, with King Kai Lee. If a kid's getting bullied, we show up at the school. It doesn't matter where they're at, bro. The thing is, man, is that enough of us have already been to the Pinta. Enough of us already have died, bro. So whoever's promoting this division and this dissension, you're not wanted in Houston, bro. You're not wanted in H Town. You know what I mean? And that should be the same message that we spread all across the country, bro. Because look at the raza, homeboy. Look at the raza right now. We have the biggest voice, the largest population. So that means we got the power to bring about positive change so that everybody following in our footsteps, homie, have an opportunity to excel scholastically, academically, politically, in any avenue that they decide to live out their God-given purpose. But that's what men are called to do, homie, to be pillars. We're called to build. We're not called to destroy, homie.
That
And it
part.
breaks my heart when I see these people, they get online and they think that they're super gangsters and they putting these youngsters in position to where they're either gonna go to a grave or they're gonna go to the penitentiary for the rest of their life, homito. I've left good brothers in prison that'll never get out. They got life with no parole. Brothers on death row. I go visit death row. And it breaks my heart because I used to promote and propagate that lifestyle. And I understand, you know what I mean? We have to get to the point where we can manage it properly. And what I did with the cliques in the penitentiary, I tried to build a line of communication with these brothers that when they had a brother that was sincere, a carnal that was sincere, and he wanted to get out of that life, that they gave him that opportunity. Even though it was a probationary period, but he proved himself worthy and sincere, they gave him the opportunity, man, to do his thing. Because you'll never abolish the gang problem
No,
at all. You'll never be able to do that. But it's about managing it properly. I don't knock them. Believe me, I understand where they're at. But what my message to everybody that's active right now, that's on the front line, there is a way out. There is a way to live in peace. There is a way to live and realize, man, that there is a better way to do things, bro. We don't always have to resort to violence. We don't always have to do that. Diplomacy is what has made Texas and
kind of like a
a
model.
beacon, a beacon of hope for a lot of these brothers that are caught up in the game, man.
Yeah, I mentioned it that what's going on over there with the unity should be a model example for what something that we can accomplish here in California. Another person that is a proponent for unity of the raza, someone that you're really close with. I wanted to bring this up, and then we'll talk about your projects and wrapping up. Is Julio Goto Sanchez? Can you go ahead and let us know how he came in your life? And what is Goto's involvement in the movement of unity in Houston and trying to put people on and trying to get people, financial information and just leveling people up. How did you meet Gold Toes? And what is all the work that you guys are doing together?
Goto's, he's a very, very, very unique individual, man. He's a very unique individual, a very powerful individual, and a very well respected individual in the Houston community. Not
That's
only in the music community and the entertainment industry, but in the community as a whole. When I got out of prison, because there's a lot of rappers that have songs about me, right? They give me shout outs, and he's deeply involved in the music industry. So he heard my name, and I was working downtown at City Hall for the mayor's office of gang prevention and intervention. He called me up and he's like, "Hey, brother, I'd like to take you to lunch." And he
mm,
put it all out on the table. This is who I am. This is what I do. If you ever need my help, give me a phone call, right? And from that moment there, I call him up and say, "Hey man, we have a community outreach event right here in the most violent part of the city. I need you to come out, man. I need your sponsorship." He come, boom, without any hesitation, without any type of hesitation. He was there. What I need to do, write a check. Hey man, we need to sponsor a soccer team over here on the north side. Hey, I got him, no problem. Hey brother, we need to go talk at this high school right here and create entrepreneur opportunities or employment opportunities. I'm there. Boom, he's there. He deals with these rappers on a one-on-one basis in terms of his business, and he's respected in the Houston community because all of his business has been straight across the board. He's never shortchanged nobody, and he makes sure if he eats, everybody eats.
that's
Whatever you need from him, this is him, man. This is what I respect about Gotos. If you put forth the effort, he's gonna run side by side with you. He's not gonna run in front of you. He's not gonna run in back of you. He's not gonna think he's bigger than you or beneath you. You're gonna be on equal standing. And I mean, Gotos is a multimillionaire, bro. He don't have to be in the Vadio, in the projects, passing out non-perishable food items or buying shoes for little kids. He don't need to be doing that. He's already made his millions. He lives in a gated community, bro. He has his own thing going on, and he's very wealthy, right? But he's always remained humble. He's always out there amongst the people, and he'll create opportunities for everybody. If and this is what I respect about him. If he sees that you're putting an effort, he's gonna get right beside you. If you tell him, "Hey man, I'm gonna pay for one video," he'll say, "Okay, I'll pay for the other video." Or, "Hey man, I need to make some money. I need a job." No problem. Let me make a few phone calls, see if we can get you employment opportunities, right? And I understand California, right? You got the northern and you got the southern,
Yep.
X, Y, and Z. But what I've seen him do, those who want to work with him on both sides, he works with them.
Oh yeah.
He's not a magician. He can't make the problems go away, right? But he's a living example. I respect that brother. I respect that brother, bro. I mean, in a way that I mean, words can't even explain. It's immeasurable because the effort that he puts forth. I mean,
Yeah.
here in the music scene here in Houston, and he's from Califas. He don't have to do that. And a lot of the brothers from Califas, they come to Houston, and we welcome them with open arms, bro. There's never no problems. They come, they hang out, they work with other artists. I mean, it's a never ending rotation. Every week somebody's coming from Califas, bro. I mean, Houston's open for business, homie. If you come down here with the right mindset, let's get paid. Let's make some money. Let's make history. And that's what I respect about Gotos, man. He's not gonna play games with you because he ain't got time to play games. He's everywhere around everybody doing things at all times. and I respect him as a man, I respect him as a husband, and I respect him as a father, and I respect him as a businessman. You know, and me and him, we link up a lot. Community outreach events. If I call him right now and I say, hey man, there's a single mother right now. She can't pay her rent. Her husband's torcido. She's behind a month in her rent. He'll say, no problem, bro. I'll write a check. Let's go. Come on, I want to meet her and sit down and talk to her. We'll be in the projects, bro, on the cut, right there, man. And we just, you know what I mean? Trying to solve issues, bro. Not trying to create issues or problems. We're trying to solve issues. And everybody that's come down here from Califas on his invitation, they'll tell you we had a Tony A here a
Yes.
couple of weeks ago. We had him here, man, and he'll tell you, bro. You know, he came down. We welcomed him with open arms. We took him around the city, introduced him to all kind of people, took him to some of the best restaurants in the city, bro, and let him know the hospitality that we have, man. You know, and I know you have people on the internet, they say this and they say that about Texas and Houston artists and X, Y, and Z. We don't pay attention to that, homie. We're
Right.
too busy trying to make power moves and trying to take care of our families and trying to feed our kids and trying to pay our bills, bro. All that is irrelevant. All
Absolutely.
that's irrelevant, man.
It's all
Anybody from Califas that comes down here on it, we had what's the brother's name from Northern Cali up here? John Diesel down here a couple of months back. Same thing. He was on some video shoots with us. Everybody embraced him. Even Lefty came down here, man. Lefty came down here. I embraced him. He came through some of the people that I know. They let me know he was here. They called me up, AOG. We got Lefty here at the studio, at the house, pull up. Him and Grim was there, you know. And we chopped it up on some respect stuff, bro. You know, hey man, it is what it is. They know Houston is open for business and is respect for respect over here on our end.
Yeah, you got something special in brewing in Houston. And my thoughts on Gold Toes is he's a very blessed individual, but he's also intelligent because you have to be a leader in order for him to deal with artists that you said that'll come with, different obstacles or challenges, right? Especially the gang stuff can be an obstacle. You need someone that is gonna be on his game. And I think Gold Toes is one of those. And what I respect, what took my respect to a whole nother level with them is, yeah, he's willing to look past the demographic or the neighborhood or blue or red. It's a California thing, blue and red. That he's willing to put people on no matter what. I'm positive that Gold Toes knows how the blessing works. That's why he gives so much and it reciprocates right back to him. In closing, hermano, I want you to let us know about the manifesto, what that is, and where people can get it. I also want to ask you about the documentary that you got on your story and any other projects that you like to plug in and put out there, and how people can tap in with those.
Um, I have the G Code Manifesto. That's an audio book of me just speaking. Manic Beats did the production on it, and it's me just spreading a positive message of unity, a positive message of the principles that we need to stand on as pillars for our community. It's called the G Code Manifesto. You can download it on any music platform in the world, stream it. It's there. It has a message of positivity and a message of hope. It's played in the prison systems. Everybody gets to listen to it in the prison systems as well.
How long is
But
it? Hermano? How long is it?
it's seven songs on there. It's
Okay.
seven segments on there. They're not necessarily songs, but if you listen to it, you know it has a beat. And Manic produced it. He's a wonderful producer, excellent guy. But my baby right now is the Southside Studio.
Mm.
You know, this is what we'll finish up my documentary on my life. It's called the Mind of a Gangster: A True Story of Pain and Power. It's the same name for my autobiography that's about to drop as well. My autobiography is 2 volumes. You have the pain volume and you have the power volume. The pain volume is the consequences of a lifestyle, criminal lifestyle that I used to live, and the power volume is the transformative power of how Jesus Christ changed my life, right? And what I'm doing today in my community as a community activist. But we have new artists, XO Mexico that we're working with. I mean, we do trap reggaeton, country music, Christian music, everything here at the studio. It's an art collective of artists that come in and work, and we do everything we can to bring their dreams into reality, whether it's through visual, whether it's through video, whether it's through audio. We're just trying to show people that they still have value, that they have something to donate and give to the world, right? Which is their artistic endeavors, whether it's graffiti, whether it's music, whether it's audio books, whether it's actual books as well. We just make it happen, my brother. We make it happen, man. And I'm constantly working. I do community outreach projects on a regular. You know, I partner with the APAC Ministries. We have a 25,000 square foot warehouse of non-perishable food items that we give out to the community. It's never ending, my brother. And it looks easy sometimes, my brother, but I have my days as well. And I gotta lean on my team, and I gotta lean on Jesus Christ. I gotta lean on in my prayer life, because the world is filled with distractions and temptations as well. And by far am I perfect, but I understand the overall objective. I understand the mission, and the mission is to make the world a better place, bro, one person at a time.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate your time, Sam. Gracias again. Again, I gravitate toward people that want to help and build and network. And I know God has blessed you like He's blessed me. Man, shout out to you. Shout out to the hub over there, Southside Studios. Shout out to Gold Toes. Man, any final words that you want to give maybe to the people from Salinas in California, which is the majority of the 14K that I got are around in my region? Any final words you want to say to anyone of anything?
I want everybody to know that the greatest investment we can ever make is not monetary. People think it's the riches, right? The new cars, the houses. The greatest investment that we'll ever make is not in the chains and the jewels, but the greatest investment we'll ever make is in another human being. We have a personal responsibility to build each other up, not break each other down. And that's what I want our people to know. The raza primero, but everybody as a whole, a collective, is that we all have a stake in the game. Whether we like it or not, carnal, whether we like it or not, it's a collective effort. So if we're working against each other, then we're slowing down progress. But if we work together for the common good of the people, you can be from this barrio, you can be from this clica, but if we're working together for the common good of the people, then we can make the world a better place.
And spoken like a true gentleman, spoken like a true mature man. I appreciate your time, Sam. Shout out to you. Shout out to Southside Studios. Houston is in the house. California, whether you're listening live on IG, we thank you for your time. Facebook or YouTube, we are done. Tap in with G Code with Sambo on YouTube. I'm going to post his link at the bottom along with his Instagram and other links. That way, if you want to connect over with the Southside Studios or just connect with him in general to build yourself up, I'll drop those links in the description. Sam, I appreciate your time, hermano.
Saludos, saludos, saludos.
All right, you guys, we're out. Remember what I always say? Well, remember what I always say. In the end, all you got is the memories. And we're out.
God bless.